Alright. Alright, so hopefully everybody can hear me and the stream is on. So I'm going to start paying my second set of Technolog miniatures. I still don't know how you pronounce it actually. But these are the Russian miniatures that I had. Super interesting stuff. These are the miniatures I got on eBay, specifically the 28mm miniatures. Start to paint, flesh on these bad boys. Now the idea is to do these super simple paint stuff, so I'm not going to do any fancy stuff, just base layer, washes, and then maybe do a little bit of dry brushing. But nothing too fancy, my friend. I primed these in a nice leather because these are actually barbarian. This camera's actually good if you get a close-up, so let's show you real quick. These are the barbarian miniatures, 28mm. So they look pretty cool. They are 28mm, but they're not 28 heroic. So that means they're just a little tiny bit smaller. Like these guys would probably be all under 5 feet. So this guy's got a... Just gonna base coat the heck out of these guys. Do these as quickly as possible. I believe the idea of this sculpt is for these guys to be wearing like gloves on one hand. So I'm gonna paint them. Doing these super sloppy. My poor Army Painter Regiment brush here is getting older. I'm gonna have to replace it. It's not doing the whole point thing as well as it could be. The Nacho Man, Candy Savage, apparently got his Russian miniatures in the mail. What did you end up getting? The big 54mm ones, or did you end up getting some of the little 28mm ones like this? Again, too, everyone was telling me to watch out for the very little, like, 10mm ones, but I don't know about those because I did not see those anywhere in my travels. Blue stuff. Yeah, blue stuff is the same material as Oyumairu, the Japanese mold-making material, which is so much cheaper than blue stuff. Blue stuff, I don't know if that UK company is still actually making it. But it's the same material as Oyumairu, like literally exactly the same. And you can get that Oyumairu stuff like super cheap compared to the blue stuff, which I don't know if they're making anymore. So it is the same stuff. It's supposed to be made for specifically like green stuff and other like putty mixes. But I actually tried using it with resin once upon a time, and that is a messy, messy thing to do. But it kind of worked, especially if you had like the Oyumeyer like in a I put it in a freezer just to try to keep it cold. Alright, hold up. I don't want to. Oh, you got the centaurs. Yeah, those are ones I didn't get a chance to get. Those looked cool. So now, got the skin layer down. Next base layer, I believe. Let's just do some. Well, let's add a little color to these. Let's add the green to the kilt slash these. Let's see here. Let's give them like a weird color. Let's get like a bright turquoise, maybe. I believe it's 11. Yeah, it's 11:44 here. Let's see here. So, with these guys, the little 28mm Technolog guys, spray primer is the absolute best. I tried to prime them using my Vallejo brush-on primer, or just the Vallejo primer, however you want to call it, and boy oh boy, that did not work out at all. Not a very good deal with that. Not very good at all. This plastic is super, super hard. So using the spray primer was the best way to go for it. Hello. Hello. Right. So typical for like wargaming stuff. These guys came in 4 poses. Which are pretty dynamic and good. I would say these are about near the quality that what would you say, the EM4 miniatures maybe a little bit better in the detail. They're not great, but I mean, frankly, for the price, these I got on eBay for way less than $1 per, shipped from all the way from Mother Russia. So, where do you get the thing that holds the miniatures? I don't know what, you'll have to let me know exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about like the little, just the little things? Because these are random. This is a little product called Mrs. Dash. It's a delicious mix of various spices, garlic, rosemary. Let me read it off to you. We have onion, which is the primary spice in this. It has black pepper, parsley, celery seed, basil, bay seasoning, marjoram, oregano, savory thyme, cayenne pepper, coriander, cumin, mustard, rosemary, garlic, carrot, orange peel, lemon juice powder, citric acid. And once you're done with it, it makes a handy dandy little holder for your miniatures when you're painting online. So one of these is Mrs. Dash. I believe this is another type of Mrs. Dash. And this is just plain old coarse ground pepper. Now you want to graduate to the actual fresh ground pepper eventually, because fresh ground pepper is so much better than the regular pepper that you get from the little, just, you know, pepper like this, which is pre-ground. Eventually, chances are if you buy pre-ground pepper, like, all the oils in it are all going to be dehydrated and stuff, so it's going to be no good. You want to get that fresh pepper. So, I want to do the furs, like, kind of simple, so I think I'm just going to do a coat of Monster Brown. And just kind of do maybe like a kind of a half dry brush. You know, getting the army painter, like, color match stuff is actually really convenient for, like, mass painting stuff like this. So all these have kind of a base coat of the just leather gray. So I'm just going to kind of sort of just highlight the already brown leather parts with a slightly lighter Monster Brown, and then go even lighter my next run to do just a very quick version of painting actual fur, which is something I want to do for, like, for reals next time. I took some awesome improv classes recently, which are super helpful with DMing, and I'm going to be doing some more random DM stuff coming up tomorrow, actually. I'm going to meet some new players and once again introduce some people to D&D. Have a lovely little Sunday game. Did I have to rebase these particular miniatures? No. These miniatures are 28mm miniatures from Technolog. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but they're meant to be wargaming miniatures. They're true 28mm, so they're just a little bit shorter than D&D miniatures, but that's actually not too bad. They would be like, you know, I think in D&D terms, these guys will all be like, you know, 5 foot or something like that. So it's like, you know, they're the same height as Dritz. So they'll be just fine. Alright, so good. Alright, so hair on these guys. So yeah, these guys came on the little 28mm base, which is the exact inch base that D&D stuff comes in, so no rebasing for these guys. They come on that little base already. Yeah, no, I mean, I think these would fit in fine with D&D stuff. Yeah, I wish I had the footage to show you, but yeah. Alright, so hair. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with the hair. I got an idea that I'm just going to maybe, like, I don't want to do, like, yellow hair, because, man, that's going to be a pain. I was thinking of doing just, like, really, like, dark black hair. And then, like, just doing a light dry brush and just seeing how the really kind of dark, ruddy, kind of reddish brown looks with the lighter brown underneath it, and see if I can just get away with doing that, and then just doing a little bit, just a little bit of dry brushing. I think, because I think that'll look good. And then just have all the leather on them be the lighter kind of leather. I don't have a link for these. I know if you just search on eBay for Technolog 28mm, these will come up. If you're looking for the... I think these are sold under... They're called Vikings, I believe. Or Barbarians or Vikings. I'm not sure which exactly. Okay. These are going to be all kind of very similar looking guys. But the idea is to do these like super easy so as to not like, you know, take up a lot of time on these. Alright, so good. Ooh, Massive Darkness is a great starting point for miniatures. Very nice. Alright, so fix this guy's face here. Alright. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of really amazing board game stuff. I mean, especially with the Kickstarter stuff. Just so much good, nice stuff going on. Okay, so I got these guys with their little turquoise stuff here. I've tried dry brushing the furs, which didn't really do that much good. So we're well on our way. I think I'm going to hit the... I think I'm going to hit the metal parts next. With just, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to hit them with, like, just, plain metal and then just dry wash them. And I won't do anything nutty, like, try to do, like, bronze weapons. I'll just hit them with dull plate metal from Army Painter, which will give a nice dull metallic to their weapons. Here. 18 minutes gone by. I'm slow tonight. But that's okay. Because it's practically a Sunday stream. Being exceptionally sloppy tonight, guys, but that is perfectly fine. These are meat and potato miniatures. No need to do a super good job on these. These are just to have, so you can have your barbarian invaders and whatnot. Also, has he reviewed Heroes Forge miniatures yet? No, I have not. Heroes Forge miniatures, that's one of the few miniatures I've not reviewed yet. I really should. It's just I keep on considering if I want to review like a specific type of miniature, and I just don't know. They do a lot of really interesting stuff at Hero Forge, so I wonder. Can you just? I don't know. Tell me in the chat. Does anybody know if you can just buy like Hero Forge designs, Also, too, let me know if the audio is good tonight, because I tried to keep it nice and tried to keep the audio correct tonight, which is sometimes a difficult thing to do. All right. So already these guys are turning out to be really nice. Just a little bit of simple stuff. All right. Weapons are next. Audio's good. Hero Forge 3D prints. Can you just buy the 3D? What I'm asking is if you can just buy the actual 3D file, because there's. I want to try out the public library 3D printer space. Thank you, Macho Man, Candy Savage, for letting me know my audio's dandy and like sour candy. Yeah, I really enjoy doing these in like leather brown. It just makes putting on all the extra little color bits like very easy. Because I can pretty much just dry brush most of this and still have a halfway decent looking miniature at the end. WizKids, I believe, does have an official store now. However, I believe they're selling mostly like their really high-end stuff. They told me specifically, WizKids told me, that they're going to be doing a scratch and dent for miniatures, but I haven't heard much about that. It's not my library. My library is not, but there's a library near me that does have a 3D printer. I think that's pretty dang cool. Good. These guys are looking awesome already. Alright, I will have to check that out. I might have to check that out because if I can buy the files, then that might be something fun to mess around with. So, I have the... If I can find it. I know I had it here someplace just a second ago. Here's the armorite wash. That's not what I want. I want the flesh wash. So, this is a P3 flesh wash. This has a bit of a more of a purplish tone, so it's good for like if you have people that like barbarians like this that have kind of an outdoors tan. This will usually look pretty good. So I'm just gonna give the flesh a wash here. Wow. Take advantage of anything you can use at the university, because, man, once you're out of university, so much stuff. So much stuff. This was back in the day when I was at university. I was able to use all their editing programs and stuff to edit video and everything, and it's just, man, once that's gone, you really miss it. I have not seen one of the Pathfinder Unpainted Dragons in person. I actually saw the D&D Unpainted Frost Giant, and that was actually something I just bought in store because, you know, it was an impulse purchase, and that looked really cool. The Unpainted Dragons, I think, I don't know, man. I have so many unpainted bones dragons. I almost feel bad about getting, you know. So. Oh, this guy had a necklace. See, sometimes this happens where you do like a wash, and you realize that there's like little details that you didn't realize. Like this guy has like a necklace and stuff, which yeah, he's got a much bigger belt than I thought as well. So that's totally cool. When you're speed doing these, you can just slop on the paint like that. It's perfectly fine. While you're waiting for that to dry, you can concentrate on areas of some of the miniatures that don't have the wash on it. So like with this guy, I'm going to start painting up the backpacks. And he's got a sleeping bag that I'm going to paint a much lighter tone than the leather bags. Is glow paint good? Dragon miniatures. I've not used glow paint at all, unfortunately. So I do not know, unfortunately. I like this royalty-free chill. That's nice. What is this? This is the royalty-free audio library music. And it's the YouTube audio library stuff. Which some of that stuff is pretty good. So we want to hit up any other little bits and bobs which we can might maybe use cloth on. So for all of this work, I've just been using a just an Army Painter regiment. I think it's the nicest inexpensive brush out there. I highly suggest anybody who's starting with painting start off with one of these. What I'm doing now is just picking out the little like leather details that can be a different shade of leather, like the gloves and everything like that. I'm definitely gonna have to hit the gloves with some dark wash when I'm done with it. Once I'm done with this. So I think I'm just gonna leave the feet absolutely Well, yeah, there's, I think I misspoke. There's different washes. I like using the Army Painter Quick Shade. And actually, the strong tone is actually the go-to on most stuff. It basically gets in the recesses of the miniature and makes them, you know, makes the it stand out a little bit. Some of these, once you actually do the wash and stuff, you start noticing where you mess up. Oh, wow. That's annoying. So just by doing the very simple little bits there, you can start to, you know, make a little bit of a difference there in the guys. So you can already see how just using quick painting techniques, you can just already start to make this guy look pretty decent. No. What you want to use blue tack. Blue tack you can find at any hardware store and usually at Walmart and places like that. Blue tack is this tacky stuff that lets you, it's not permanent, so you can remove this once you're done. But once you stick something to this and kind of turn it a little bit, it'll just stay on there. So it's called blue tack. It's mounting putty. Some people call it, I forget what the other words are, but I believe the name brand is Blue Tack. Yeah. Army Painter brushes will last, but I mean, this one is going to be like completely destroyed soon just because of use. And whenever you leave like any mid-range brush like this, you always just want to leave it to dry horizontal. If you leave it to dry like this, it'll actually lessen the life of the brush. Yeah. But alright, so we've done little bits. I think I'm just going to start go over the fur a little bit more with a much lighter brown than I used before. I don't see a lighter brown, so what I'm going to do is just add a bit of the original brown that I read over the fur and add a little bit of white. Just dry brush the heck out of that. Oh, and this, of course, is why you should never use old paint. This paint's super old, as you can tell from the label, and once paint gets this old, it starts to clog up very easily. Oh, and I just dumped a bunch in there. That's perfectly fine, though, because it's old paint, and we want to use that up. So we're going to add a little bit of that white to that, and add a bunch. So we got a really, really light brown. We can brush it a little bit, and then we can just kind of feather light touch just so it hits the outer details. Oh man. Yeah, see, I'm doing this super quick way. Yeah, this is not, it's not dry brushing at all very well. Oof. Ah, well. Alright, good. Good. Can you use these barbarians as orcs? They're pretty squat. They could use these as orcs. They don't really look like orcs all that much. I think if you painted these green or, orcish color, they would just kind of look like greenish orcs. They would look like greenish barbarians, rather. They wouldn't really look like orcs very much. All right. Let's see here. This particular song is definitely Clown Shoes. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. There we go. On a hard plastic miniature like this, if you don't prime before painting, then you run the risk of your paint rubbing off very easily through just like picking up and moving the miniature or carrying your miniature to your games. If you don't prime it, then the paint will not stick on there as nice as you would like it to. And if you prime it, then you won't have that problem usually with regular use. And like I said, a different primer works with different miniatures. When you're working with very hard plastic like these happen to be, then the spray primer works really nice. So okay, so these guys don't look like they have a necklace. Alright, very good. You know what? Just for fun, because I pour... Oh, how long do miniatures usually last? You know, depending if you just have them on your shelf and you're super careful, any miniature is going to last, like, forever. I don't really know. Like, the old miniatures, the really old miniatures, those are starting to deteriorate because they were not pure materials. So all, like, the weird little extra minerals in them is starting to degrade. So some of the old materials, back before they started using, like, pewter mixes, those are actually starting to rot from the inside out. But modern miniatures made out of pewter and plastic, I mean, plastic lasts forever. Like, definitely more than your lifetime. And pewter, as far as I know, if it's properly painted and then protected, the paint shouldn't chip off. So I think that would last for, like, you know, your lifetime. What flavor Mrs. Dash is this? This is the regular Mrs. Dash. This is the classic. The classic Mrs. Dash. I'm not sure what this was. This is a red label. So I think that's Mrs. Dash, but I think that might have been, like, I don't know, maybe the table version, because the table version is very fine ground Mrs. Dash. It's very good for putting on potatoes. If you're doing oven potatoes and you want some spices, the table Mrs. Dash fine ground stuff is excellent for that. All right. All right, I like that a lot. Well, okay, now, this is not proper miniature painting. This is what you would call speed painting. I have worked about 43 minutes. I'm working super slow tonight. So, you know, I'm doing speed painting techniques. So this is not like proper, oh, these is really nice miniatures. These are like speed painted miniatures, so they look good on your table. But, you know, they're not going to win any contests or anything like that. Just showing how you can base coat and wash and stuff and make some miniatures that look pretty good. So, speaking of washes, it's almost time for a dark wash, but I want to make this hilt of this sword. I think I want to make this hilt of this sword maybe just a weapon, a bronze color, just to make it look at, you know, kind of like a weird, wonky barbarian weapon. I think that'd be good to make the hilt bronze. With the miniature painting hobby, as long as you just do the simple steps of, you know, base coating, washing, and then doing a little dry brushing and picking out details, you know, you can paint at this level. Almost anybody can paint at this level. So it is not difficult at all. I'm actually super out of practice because I've not been painting recently. Just because everything's been super hectic lately. I like that. It's a big dumb it's a big dumb barbarian weapon here. that looks like a big dumb barbarian sword now. I like that. Very simple. No. Okay, here's the thing. We're talking about plastic glass for, like, who knows how long plastic lasts. Like, there's, like, I don't know. Metal will last longer just because it's stronger. So, what will actually last longer? If you put them on your shelf, then they'll both last you your lifetime. The plastic miniature might outlast the metal one, but in the short term, the plastic one actually has more of a chance of getting damaged. And it's a weird thing. You would think the metal one would. But the metal one, just because of the weight of it and the fact that it's pewter metal, which is more valuable than the plastic miniature, people are usually more careful for that. So, like, over the lifetime of the miniature, you're going to drop the plastic one more, and you're going to be more careful with the metal one. So the metal one might actually outlast the plastic one just because of, you know, that factor alone. It's very interesting. Still want to consider painting one before killing one. Have you ever wanted to sculpt something so beautiful you don't want to paint it? Oh yeah, I have that all the time. I have so many beautiful sculpts in my collection right now. From the chainmail miniature stuff that I have, all the old D&D stuff. Man, I have some really nice sculpts that the Gale Force, I have a couple of those ones that I have not painted any of them. The Gale Force ones are usually super, super expensive. Gale Force 9 ones are the resin D&D kits that are most recently. I have a ton of those that I never painted because they're so nice. I got those because they were on sale on Amazon for super, super cheap a couple of years back, and I've not painted any of them yet. I feel so badly about that. It was the big purple worm, and I have the Strahd miniature, and I have a couple of the smaller ones, including an Elementor miniature. So, yeah. Alright, so just for funzo, I'm going to use some of the white that I spilled. I'm going to use my detail brush for this. I'm going to get a nice... See how much of a thing I can get on this. I'm going to use the white just to paint some stripes on their pantaloons here. Just because I spilt that white. So this is a happy accident. Have you painted the D&D? Yes. I did a video on the D&D board game miniatures. You can see the examples of the miniatures that I painted there. The D&D board games are an amazing resource for new painters. They take spray primer really well. You can just go get Krylon, just primer, and you can spray those, and they take primer really well. They take paint really well, and they're really fun to paint. Yes, I believe you're right. Early 90s, I believe, is when they stopped the lead rot problem. A lot of people like using washers. That is something that a lot of people actually do. It's just Purple worm, as in the giant purple worm. Not worm as in dragon, like as in worm, the D&D worm. Come on, give me some paint on this brush. I have to get a thinner brush. These brushes not being thin like it should be. Being very, very not cooperative. Do I not use a magnifying glass? Nope, I don't, especially not in stuff like this where I'm just messing around. Trying out new things. There's no point using a magnifying glass with miniatures like this because they're They're pretty good quality, but they're not really high quality. So I used to have magnifying glass. I sold it at the garage sale when I moved, and I have not gotten a new one yet. Because I've not wanted to spend the money, and you know. But yeah, on minis like these, I mean, it's just, you know, I'm working on making the them look okay from like a distance of you know, several feet away. Alright. Alrighty. So I don't know if I really want to try to do their eyes, but I do have a little bit of white paint here, so take a long time to do so. Mark. Ooh, see, this brush is not keeping paint on it. Okay, so I might, if I want to do, if I want to do eyes on these bad boys, I might have to actually do something different. So, skins look pretty good. Gonna get some, a little bit of metal on divots and little bits and pieces like that. Do you have any miniatures online? So doing miniatures, beast miniatures, right? Besides wood skids. I have not reviewed any castle miniatures besides, well, I've never reviewed any castle miniatures, period, so I have no suggestion for castle miniatures, because that's currently out of my purview. Druid miniature, beast miniatures, dragonborn miniatures. Dragonborn miniatures, I mean, the old, like I said before, the old Hasbro D&D sets have a lot of nice miniatures from the old Hasbro line. That's when Hasbro proper was doing them. So you can get a lot of like stuff. I'm thinking Beast miniatures. I mean Reaper Bones for unpainted miniatures. Yeah, that's a good deal. Reaper Bones is a good shot to find all of those miniatures, really. Confrontation does have a lot of Beast things. There's no real good deals for the painted Confrontation, unfortunately. I think there's a couple of the sets on Miniature Market, but they're not the greatest of prices. I would say search the Cool Mini or Not like board games and see if any of those are kind of what you're looking for. Alright, so we got this. So blah 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 blah. Oh, that brush is not very good. That actually might be enough to do the eyes if I'm super careful. Ah, blocky McBlock. Annoying this. There, I like that. So the proper method to doing eyes is to paint them completely black and then paint little dots of white on either side. But if you do it the wrong way, like I like doing it, and you paint the white first and then you try to paint a dot, you get a really goofy expressions like this guy, which I really like. You really get goofy expressions, which I enjoy greatly. Can I get this guy? Come on, wrong way, move this way, perhaps. Oh, I can't even do it. Come on, there we go. There. All right. Let's glow. Let's break into the gold paint a little bit because some of these guys have necklaces, and I want to paint them as gold necklaces. A nice little contrast. See other little bits and pieces in these miniatures. Gold, not water king. There we go. Oh wow, did we reach the end of that song there. That's weird. Don't know what happened with that. They're definitely not bone necklaces. This guy doesn't have a necklace. This guy painted it. Okay. Right. So you can already. Close that properly. If there's any little bits and pieces we can work on here. All right, so other than getting a couple little hand scratches of white here, I'll get a little bit of the shoot. I don't know what I'm doing with this guy anymore. I am painting Technolog Russian miniatures, the barbarian sets. I got these on eBay. 28mm true, so they're a little bit smaller than D&D miniatures. Let's see here. Okay. What else do I need to do? Do I want to use much more? Yes, I do. Too much more of this guy. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a nice afternoon, evening, whatever it is for those. Let's see. Do they have a website? They do have a website. It's in Russian. It's just, I don't know. I don't believe they ship from their website. I got these just on searching on eBay. Oh, Slice. Yes. I don't know how you pronounce it. Yeah. Most of the I don't know how you pronounce it. Slice stuff used to be in craft stores, but they still sell stuff. A lot of stuff on Amazon and other little toy stores and stuff like that. But yeah. They used to have some really good stuff. Hobby Lobby used to have some really good stuff, but they've been replacing it lately with like really like sub-quality stuff. So, yup. Oh, I probably should show it before and after. So, I decided to paint some crappy little patterns on their little kilt things here. These are Russian Technolog missions. Russian stuff, did you mean? I did a review of the Tehnolog miniatures, and that's what these are the 28 versions of the miniatures that they sell. 28mm versions. And these are true 28mm versions. Oh, wow, okay. Screwed that up. So, if you're ever screwing up using acrylics like this, the good thing about it is that if you just immediately wipe it away, it'll be fine. I just painted something completely black that I did not mean to paint black, and it's fine because I painted away the excess with water, and it turned out fine. So we'll show even a lazy attempt at doing a pattern on clothing like this. Kind of looks wonky, but after you add the wash and blend things a little bit, it looks much nicer. Especially if you're going for something dirty. Wash works best on monsters and stuff that's supposed to be all dirty and disgusting. Because it does leave miniatures looking dirty. Which is why it's so easy to paint Warhammer Fantasy miniatures with this stuff. Because a little bit of wash will make everything look very feudal and depressingly filthy. That's... All demon monsters, same as every monsters, we're stuck in the nature. Wow, these are turning out to be very nice. I enjoy these very much so. So, wow. Over in time, though. It took me well over an hour to paint these. But that's fine, because I'm messing around with new techniques tonight. I tried to do a little pattern on cloth, which is like literally the first time that I've ever tried to do that. And I think it was well worth the experimentation to see what's going on. Ready. Where are you? Ready? Nope. Ready. Where are you? Nope. It's always the ruddy brown. I can never find the dang stuff. It's always the ruddy brown that's missing. There it is. That's nice. Very nice. Excellent. What is a good spray primer for the D&D board games? The Krylon primer, not the paint and primer. The Krylon regular primer, just the regular stuff. The plastic fusion stuff is not like necessary. Just the regular Krylon primer. Just check to make sure it works on plastic. It should say right on the bottle. Yeah, or if you want to do color match, I highly suggest the Army Painter stuff. Get something like brown to go on, monsters and miniatures like this, and that will be super helpful as well. Yeah, so that's Army Painter Color Match Primer. It's a lifesaver when it comes to stuff like this. like this. So I think these guys are pretty much done. I'm 100% not going to be making these guys perfect in such a way. I've already kind of done enough experimentation on them.
You see, stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on 2 separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
Okay. I like how the I truly enjoy how the head archer here is all cross-eyed. I really enjoy that. 28mm R. Now I know there are some even smaller miniatures which would be useless for D&D. These are the 28mm ones. Apparently there's like 15mm or like 10mm ones that are like super tiny. And I don't know what sets they are in. The Castlecraft ones should all be these 28mm ones. But just be very careful that what you're getting is the 28mm ones. I just got these off eBay. They said they were 28mm. They are. Most D&D stuff is 28mm heroic, which means it's going to be slightly larger than this. So these guys are a little bit short compared to D&D stuff, but like frankly, it's not that big of a difference, and they will fit in perfectly. And their bases are the exact same size as D&D bases. Maybe. I don't know anything. Apparently, like, they're the same similar models as these. So they'd be little, like, guys. So I don't know how useful they could be. Wow, this song is very annoying. I'm going to skip it. Good and bye. Lilliputians. Lilliputians would be like 8mm. God, imagine trying to paint one of those friggin' things. I'm glad I decided to paint a group of 4 of these guys. They make a lovely little band of, ambushing. They make a lovely little barbarian encounter or a bandit encounter. Very useful little miniatures. I'm glad I did all 4 of them. Fine. I didn't do the furs very good at all, but you know what? I'm really not feeling it. Wow, these music not going all that good. I like that a little bit more. It depends on what kind of figure. If you're painting a figure with any sort of detail, then paint figure by figure. If you're doing speed painting, well, this turned into experimentation. But if you're trying to do speed painting, then multiple figures at once is the way to go. This is actually the YouTube music list. It's like literally one of the few things that I can add to this video and won't have my channel be copyright struck. So this is from the YouTube audio. I like that a little bit more. It depends on what kind of figure. If you're painting a figure with any sort of detail, then paint figure by figure. If you're doing speed painting, well, this turned into experimentation. But if you're trying to do speed painting, then multiple figures at once is the way to go. This is actually the YouTube music list. It's like literally one of the few things that I can add to this video and won't have my channel be copyright struck. So this is from the YouTube audio library. So it's a random arrangement, and some of it's better than others. Some is much better than others. I think the best expression. Oh my god. I think this guy has the best expression. Would hit me with like a bunch of like stuff saying like a million companies have like claimed the audio, and it wouldn't. Some people do that on purpose, like they'll use like a bunch of copywritten songs just because they know they're not gonna like monetize the video, so they'll just like use a bunch of different copyrighted songs. So like all the companies hit the video at once trying to get it like the money for it, but it just doesn't. That stuff I feel doesn't reflect well on your channel, especially it seems like there's a bunch of shenanigans happening if like you're constantly doing stuff where it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of copyrights on my videos. It's just I don't think that looks great for your channel. So if your radio was on when you're doing that, then unless that radio was broadcasting stuff that was copyright free. So the guy whose outfit I think turned out the best is this guy here. I think looks pretty good. I love the proportions on these guys. It's just ridiculously stupid. And then we got the guy with the best facial expression. And then we have the Axeman, who didn't turn out that great, but still, he'll look fine on the table. And then we have the leader guy, who has a little bit more detail, but I screwed up his face something terrible, and I just don't feel like fixing him. Still, his sword looks nice, and that's half the battle. G.I. Joe, and his backpack looks pretty good, along with his little bag of stuff and his bedroll. So, all four of these guys turned out great. Good primer to stick to hot glue. That is a very good question. I believe the last time I tried to work with hot glue, I didn't bother using primer, but you might try Vallejo, because Vallejo works with like super bendy stuff, and it works with soft materials. So I would try Vallejo brush on if you happen to have it, or just Vallejo primer. Alright. I believe that's about it. Unless I can get a picture of all my miniatures here, which I might be able to do. So, our fearless leader, with his good sword and pretty terrible otherwise. The 1,000-yard stare of his best spearman. The frankly... Oh, wow. Huh. Focus, please. Why, dear, this is not focusing at all. Focus, you joiks. Focus, there we go. Spearman there, not looking too confident. And then the bowman with the decidedly giant one pupil. He's probably had a stroke midway through combat. Pray for bowman. So, there we are, folks. What? Move. It no work no more. Okay, well, I'll have to set this up for next time anyways. So... Alright then. Well, I'm going to be done for the night. Check out the new videos uploaded. I might upload this full thing. I'm not sure. But thank you very much for stopping by this midnight Saturday painting session that I meant to start at 9, but it's midnight now. So you guys all have a very nice evening or afternoon, depending on where you are. Mod Podge is a very good suggestion for making something for black pudding out of hot glue. Mod Podge is a very good idea for that. Get to the chopper, I'm the bowman. It's physically impossible for me to have this physique in medieval times because there wouldn't be enough food. Alright then. You guys have a great evening. Had a great time. I will try to do more broadcasts in the future. So once again, have a nice evening, and thank you for watching my videos. And I'm also on Facebook now, but I don't know how well that's going to work out. So if you have any suggestions for new videos, please leave me some suggestions in the comment. And there's also the new community tab where I noted that there's some really amazing deals. I'm actually going to go head on over to the community tab right now to see if the deals on the D&D books are still happening, because they might still be happening. And if so, I suggest if you need any D&D books, you pick them up now from Amazon if that deal is still going. I am checking literally right now. The Xanathar's Guide and the Dungeon Master's Guide were ridiculously low prices. They still are. Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Dungeon Master's Guide, Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, all very cheap. Xanathar's Guide and the Dungeon Master are like 18 bucks each. That's like literally the cheapest prices I've seen on those books ever. I know Volo's Guide to Monsters is also under 20. I can't screen share right now. Actually, I think I can. Hold on here. I'll try to screen share. Yeah, here we go. So, this is what you have to do. If you're going to do this, make sure you click on this coupon. Because if you click on my link, or if you order this off Amazon through my link, it's 20 bucks. But if you click on this coupon, you will save an extra 10% off. Double check to make sure if you have that, because that's what's going to take the price from $20 and something cents to $18 and something cents. It's an amazing deal. It's the best prices on a lot of these books. Volo's Guide to Monster, Mordenkainen's, the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook has not hit sub 20, but the Dungeon Master's Guide has. The Monster Manual is a fun book. I think, if you're, $18 on these books, I mean, it's an amazing price. I would suggest you pick one of those up if you can. There's a community tab on my channel. If you go to my channel, there should be a community tab open right now. It's a brand new thing. It's super exciting. I'm going to be sharing deals like this whenever I find them. On Black Friday, I shared the deal for the $30 box for the Rune Wars base set, which is like amazing amount of miniatures, high quality miniatures for $30. I shared that deal I will share other deals, as well as just little update things and probably pictures of more raccoon dogs or whatever I come across. So yeah. So anyways, you guys have a very nice rest of your weekend. I am going to stop this broadcast. Thank you very much for stopping by. Again, check out the community tab on the YouTube channel. It should be right there when you go to my channel. Have a great one, guys. And I will see you next time, which I will try to have some sort of note in the community tab when I will be streaming next time. That'll be useful. It's another reason to check out the community tab. Alright then.